he invited Stanhope on at their last Man Show's second Banana Support Group meeting. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get it on. No choice but get on. A mandate should get it on. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for telling a friend. We love that about you, right, Gina Graham?
That's right.
Handball, Brian. Blood. Yeah, interesting talking to Stanhope. I always thought it'd be funny. I'll pitch it to him, a Man Show reunion, but it's me and Stanhope.
Oh, that's good.
We tour the country.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We just put Man Show reunion up there. We're not lying.
It could be like the producers, like you're making a joke out of it, but it becomes a big hit.
Yeah.
Like in Vegas when the Drifters play, you know what I mean? It's just like one original Drifter.
The Drifter.
Maybe. Yeah, the Drifter. All right.
And did you see who he's friends with besides Johnny Depp? Someone way more interesting. Michael Biehn.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, Michael Biehn.
What
yeah,
the fuck?
Caelan's dad. Yeah.
We need a Tombstone remake. Part 2.
Who plays ARP?
All right. So I have a concept thought that you guys should be interested. A couple of concept thoughts, and then we can all check. Which was I was talking to Dr. Drew, who's he's having a bit of a, I would call it a midlife crisis.
Oh, no.
An intellectual midlife crisis.
He's not getting an earring, is he?
Yo, he got a hoop.
Okay.
He went to Harrison Ford's piercist.
Fuck.
Or whatever they call him.
Piercist. Yes, piercist.
I don't know.
got it.
What do we call him?
I like piercist.
I'll
I
go
don't
with
know.
piercist. So you know, it's not going to be cured by Corvette in a members only jacket. It's an intellectual sort of malaise, you know, and so
I don't want to know my doctor has an intellectual malaise.
He has it, and I said. He said, I'm not doing enough, you know. I'm not, you know, and it's you know, old, white, heterosexual guy. Hollywood's not knocking on the door. There's going to be a thing that all white, male, heterosexuals are going to have to contend with somewhere after their 45th birthday, which is you're going to have to pedal extra hard to stay busy. No one from Netflix needs you to do anything for them and HBO and all that. Now there's, you know, you can be Will Ferrell, that you'll land on your feet. But what I'm saying is for the second tier folks, you're going to have to create your own material, because it used to be, the History Channel wants this and HBO wants that, and nobody's calling anymore if you're in this demo. So you're going to have to churn and make your own material. And for guys like Drew, look, he's okay at that, but it's not really his thing.
Right.
His thing is the such and such. MTV wants you to do a blah, blah, blah.
Right. It's an old man, young man, as opposed to a rich man, poor man. Because you have to create your own content.
There's a gay man, straight man, black man, white man. You know, it's all a thing. But it, like I said, there's so much. You know, what are your chances of hosting the Oscars as a 50-something-year-old straight white guy? You know, just look at how everything is broken down now. So I said, Drew's busy by most standards, just not by his standards. You know. And so then I came up with this concept. I said, it depends who you are, because if you're my mom or my dad or anyone in my family, what he's doing now is more than enough to feel busy.
Oh.
My mom would be overwhelmed.
A success by any standard.
By whatever Drew's doing on a daily basis. But for Drew, it's not enough.
Right.
So I said, if you have a fixed wing aircraft and it's a trainer style aircraft. Now, I've known this from flying remote control airplanes. They have trainers, they'll call them, and they do not take much to fly or to get off the ground. Okay. You get it's weird how much you can learn from a model, especially if you're flying it. You get the trainer. And you go buzzing down the runway, and after about 40 feet, it just sort of pops into the air. Okay. It doesn't take much speed. It doesn't take much skill. You don't have to keep it straight. You just kind of do it, and it just goes up in the air. And then you can sort of putter around in a slow circle. But if you want to fly something that's swept wings. So the trainer wings are just straight out. It's like if you stood up and just held your arms out like you're on the cross. Swept wing, then the arms go down, and it's sort of like you're holding them out like you're getting ready for a gunfight or something.
Right.
Well, you don't get much lift out of that. So you needs a lot of speed. You need to be launched off a carrier, like with great velocity, and there's no gliding. Once they slow down, they start coming down fast. They need to go fast all the time. They got to be going full throttle and fast to keep that lift all the time. And so I said, Drew, the problem is you have a kind of a swept wing. Your wings need a lot of air passing through them. You need a lot of velocity, and when you slow down, you start coming down. Now, if your wings were like my mom, the Piper Cub, then it doesn't take any velocity for you to feel like you're aloft.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then I started thinking about it, and I was like, so what wings, what shape are my wings in? Where's everyone's wings at? I mean, the pure gliders, if you picture a glider, wings just straight out, and they're literally gliding without propulsion, And then you picture of the fire-breathing, afterburner, military stuff, and those wings are down. And so I thought, I think we're all kind of wired up with our wings in a different position, and we know the glider people, they're just like fine with hanging and chillaxing and just sort of slow circling, and it doesn't mean they don't get off the ground. They just don't need to be moving with any urgency or velocity.
And is it that they don't know that they're not moving with velocity, or they don't care? Because when I'm not, I know it.
I think they have the same experience that you'd have if you were flying in that trainer airplane, like that little Cessna. You're not going, you're going up 100 miles an hour, and a Southwest flight's going 500 miles an hour, but you have that feeling of like, whoa, there we go, up in the air, that sense, and so it satiates, like it feels like you're doing something, and we've all met those people where you're like going, hey, what's going on? What are you doing? I asked you to do that yesterday, and they're like, hey man, my wings are out. I'm kind of glad I called them. Like what happened? They didn't call back. I'm just gliding. I'm just gliding.
Catch me on my next loop.
The problem is when you take the people like Drew with the wings that are more like a fighter jet, and you slow down the air passing under them, they don't get that lift. Yeah. And so then they sit around and they kind of beat themselves up. It's like, I don't feel good. I don't feel right. Because, it's like every race car, the hardest thing to do, not the hardest, but in a race car, the least drivable the car is getting from the paddock out onto the grid, and from the grid out onto the track. Okay. That's the most difficult part.
This is not doing what a race car is meant to do.
Yeah, you're asking the car to slowly go through the parking and the people and blah, 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 blah. So it's like, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't want to idle right. You're constantly pushing the clutch in. The gear's too long. So it means like when you're going 5-8 miles an hour, there's people walking around. The car starts bucking, like blah, 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 blah. It's like it's meant to go.
Right.
And it's not meant to do that. So it'll overheat when you're doing it. Then once you get out on the track, now it's doing what it was meant to do. And I think kind of people are that way. And then so I started to think, like, is that just your wing position? Does it move around?
Can it move around?
There's articulating wings.
Aha! I set you up for that.
There is the, I think, it must be, Chris will find it. It's the F-14 Tomcat. I'm thinking maybe Cruise Top Gun. Articulating wing.
Okay.
So this is what you want. You want the articulating wing.
You want the ones that are made for like landing, but then can really kick it in.
Yes, the wings kind of come up when you're taking off, or maybe not. I'm trying to think of doing taking off when you're landing or when you're going slow. And when it's time to hustle, they tuck in. They sweep. They have 14 Tom, right? We'll get a picture of that.
Interesting.
They sweep from 20 degrees to 68 degrees.
Wow.
The variable sweep. So the problem I don't think what you want is in full bore positions, swept down all the time, because then you become Michael Jordan and you're obsessed with beating anyone who's playing golf with you, and you're arguing with them and stuff.
You don't appreciate anything.
Yeah, go out and play golf.
Yeah.
It's a high RPM way to live.
Yeah, go enjoy your golf game. Don't be so competitive. Have a drink, and if you lose by a couple strokes, you lose. You don't have to gamble on every hole to try to create that feeling, more air passing by. So there's that F-14 Tomcat with the wings swept back, and then there's ones where they're pushed out.
It's a pretty badass picture.
I was going to say, it's intimidating.
Yeah.
So that's, you're not getting any of that, Ukraine. That's for us. But
Stockpiling.
But I started to think that it wasn't really, it's not, I think what we do is we go the wrong direction. We go, well, what do you have to do today? Or what projects you're working on, or like what's going on. But it's not really that. It's like, what position is your wing in? Because I don't think there's ever going to be enough. If your wings are tucked down tight, good luck keeping the airflow of projects, constantly creating the lift under it. The second there's a break in it, you start to get unstable and start to come down toward the ground. It doesn't take long, you know? And if your wings are permanently fixed out like that trainer,
you'll never get up to speed.
Nothing. It doesn't take anything to keep you engaged. And if you throw a couple extra things at you, it's like, whoa, turbulence, you know? So I think the thing is go ahead and don't be fixed.
Articulate your wings.
Articulate your wings, people.
You just took us to flight school.
That's a new T-shirt.
That's right. And I think I just articulated that wing.
I think Drew's a victim of his own success in a sense, because think about him in 1985, right? He's a doctor. He's hosting a late night show on one station, but whatever by any measure, that's successful. You know what I mean? Like, he's a success in his field, or he's someone to aspire to. And then he got more popular or more busy. I don't know how everyone would put it at the HLN show.
The new norm.
Yeah, he was doing all these shows and all these hits, and then you set that bar, you push that bar so high, right, that anything below that feels like a vacuum.
Yeah, he got so much air passing over his lifting surface for so long that was the speed that he was. Look, what if you took a guy who did fly F-14s off carriers, and then you put him in a Cessna?
It'd be nothing.
He'd be bored as shit, right? And then we would look at him and go, "Oh man, you're flying today! Like, it's cool." And he'd go, "Yeah, it's no good for me." All right, let's see. We got March Madness coming your way. We got the game, right?
Yeah.
We got the Rotten Tomatoes game. Well, we don't. Let's see. Yeah, I think we can. Well, I'll tell you. I want to play a clip before it gets too old. I forgot. I was listening to Dennis Prager the other day on a radio show, and he knows a lot lot about Russia because that's his.
Doesn't he speak Russian?
Yeah, and
he speaks Russian. He went to Russia when he was 19.
But what does he really know?
I always think about it too, when it's like, oh, that guy's a racist and a homophobe. It's like he's a very learned guy. He speaks like 4 or 5 languages.
Scholarly.
But I just thought I'd play you this clip from Sebastian Gorka's radio show where he talks about Russia. I thought it was sort of interesting. But I also thought it's also what a thoughtful conversation should feel like, but you just don't hear too many of those anymore. So I'll play it for you.
When you look at a nation that really is not well understood, or at least for 30 years, with your experience in Russia, what is the thing that you think is perhaps least understood by Americans, which they should understand when it comes to this nation?
It's a very hard question to answer. Russians are a very complex people. I mean, you could say that every people are complex, but I don't think they're equally complex. See, I think Russia has both a superiority and an inferiority complex.
Yeah.
and it's a duality that's very tough to live with. It causes a certain schizophrenic behavior. On the one hand, they basically know that they can't compete in achievements with the West. I mean, it's just a fact. But it doesn't matter. I mean, no, people in the West are not going around thinking, gee, who hasn't succeeded like me in Denmark? I mean, it's not the way, people are not thinking that way.
Yeah.
But they do. So there is that, but there is also the sense we are the deepest people in the world. We know human nature. We are deep. We have Dostoevsky to say, to live is to suffer, a famous line from Dostoevsky's Brothers Karamazov. So they have both. And there's also a tremendous sense of we were once feared and significant, and then with the demise of the Soviet Union, we became just a poor country in the Eurasian continent. Of course, had they embraced Western freedoms, including obviously economic freedom, they could have thrived much more. But they have no experience with freedom, so they went from the czars to the commissars to thugs. These people with these $500 million yachts, solely because they were at the right place at the right time to make the connections to take over what the Soviet government had owned. Now a bunch of oligarchs own it. So it's a mess. It's a true mess.
Yeah. I always play those clips of him because when people go, oh, that guy, he doesn't know the fuck he's talking about. He's an idiot. He's an idiot, that guy.
No, he's very smart.
Yes, he does. Look, you have to say, you can say about any subject, oh, I disagree with that guy, but be careful when you get into, he's a nincompoop, he's a jerk-off,
Right.
He doesn't know what he's saying, He has thoughts that are different than yours on certain subjects.
And may know a little bit. You know who loved Dennis Prager? Who would never say it publicly because it's, he's a sports guy and doesn't get into politics. My father loved Dennis Prager. And it's so funny when he starts saying Russia has a superiority-inferiority complex. The first thing I thought of, that's what they say about alcoholics.
Yeah.
That's what they say about addicts.
Yes.
And I think there's sort of a parallel there.
Oh, Boston
I
sports
agree.
fans.
Yeah. True.
For so long, they're the ugly stepchild. Now they're ruling the roost.
I know.
The last 20 years.
All right, so we're going to play the Rotten Tomatoes game here.
Listen to that noise. That's a high falsetto voice. That can only mean one thing, and you can feel it.
Dawson names her flicks, and the gang makes their picks, guessing if it's rotten or fresh.
If they guess it exactly, we'll get a bonus 5.
It's the Rotten Tomatoes game. You know how we do it. Give me the Rotten Tomatoes game. Now it's time to play it.
Well, one of the more common film questions you might hear these days is simply, what's better, the original or the remake? Well, we have a unique format at the Rotten Tomatoes game today that will help us answer that very question. All of the scoring will be the same as usual, but instead of 5 rounds, we'll do 4 rounds of 2 movies each. Back in 1976, Walter Matthau starred as a hard-drinking ex-minor leaguer who reluctantly agreed to coach a Little League team of misfits, enlisting a young Tatum O'Neal to hopefully pitch the team to glory. Nearly 30 years later, Billy Bob Thornton stepped up to fill Mathau's shoes, directed very faithfully by Richard Linklater. From 1976 and later in 2005, The Bad News Bears.
So we're scoring each movie, obviously.
Yeah, the first one has that poster that
Yep.
it was used in every 70s.
Oh,
I
my God.
guess
Sort
it
of
was a
Mad
Mad
Magazine
Magazine.
inspired.
It was
Yeah.
all about shoes that were too long. They were always untied. And it was just a style of art.
Every hat is a skew.
Yeah, everything's very Alfred E. Newman.
That was it was ubiquitous in the 70s. All right, the first one, by the way, That you go go watch that one and listen.
With the sound down.
Listen to some of the language, man. That is not a kid's film at all.
It might be PG.
Well, I
Which
mean,
is insane. Look that up if you could, please.
by
Tail or
those
something.
days' standards, it may have been edgy. Now it should be canceled and it should be wiped clean from the internet.
And well, it doesn't pop up for a movie that was as big as it was. It does not pop up on the
true.
cable very often.
Time has not been kind to Bad News Bears.
What year
well,
was the
through the
second
woke
one?
lens,
That's
you
what I
might
mean.
you might see it and laugh your ass off.
I have seen it. I love this movie, but no, one of my time, like current today's standards.
When was the Billy Bob Thornton one made?
04?
It was like
2005.
Okay.
5.
all right,
All
probably
right.
filmed in 04 to be fair. All right, so we give them both a score.
Oh boy.
All right. Okay. I saw them both. They're both good. I mean, they're fine. They're as advertised. The question is critics and remakes, and you know how that goes. All right, I'm going to just go with one, and then I'm going to flip the script. I'm going to go 74 for the original and 47 for the follow-up.
They're not both fine. The second one is a very bad movie. I said 87 for the beloved classic and 41 for the remake.
I had 78 and then I crossed it out because I thought it just can't be. So I said 68 for the first one, 48 for the second one.
We do have a 5-point deduction.
So many choices.
The original Bad News Bears is fresh at 97%.
Fuck
I mean, it's a great movie.
that is not possible.
I liked it, but it means a lot of people didn't review it.
I was going to say
more
no contemporary reviews.
Wow.
It's like up there with Titanic. Like this is insane.
It's better than Titanic.
And the remake of the Bad News Bears is rotten at 48%.
Oh, I needed that. I needed that
I
bad.
really did.
Wow.
97.
Wow. The people didn't like it half as much.
Yeah,
Near
80
as much.
with the people.
Jackie Earle Haley is Kelly Leak.
Wow, I loved him.
Let's go back even further now to 1967.
All you had to do, I was talking to Drew about this back then with the Jackie Earle Haley. First off, between him and the Fonz, there are no smaller thugs on the planet. The thugs now are played by Brock Lesnar.
Menacing.
Back then, all you needed is a cigarette and a motorcycle.
And a leather jacket.
A leather jacket, but all you had to do is ride a motorcycle and smoke, and you could kick anyone.
The scariest dude
you
on-
kick the shit out of the guy who started for nose tackle on your high school football team because you smoked.
Yeah.
Because you did this thing that was unhealthy. It gave you superpowers.
I love that.
All right, sorry.
Better times.
Back to 1967 when the Walt Disney Company adapted Rudyard Kipling's classic novel about a young boy raised in the jungle by wolves, a panther, and a jolly singing bear. It took nearly 50 years, but in 2016, the technology finally caught up to remake the story using a hybrid of live-action filming and CGI effects. While you probably won't recognize many names from the original, the remake featured VO performances from Ben Kingsley, Bill Murray, and Idris Elba from 1967 and also from 2016, The Jungle Book.
Animation-wise, wouldn't you agree? I don't know how big. Well, Brian, you'd know you're a big Disney fan.
Go on.
That 67, like around the Jungle Book, is when the animation really started to fall off.
Yeah, it was right around that era.
The Aristocats.
I think
like,
this is the best of that era,
Yes.
but that may not be saying much.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Everything got really sharp and angular and not beautiful.
Yeah, you're right.
All
But
right.
that being said,
I have no idea.
Robin Hood and that
Yeah,
whole era.
yeah.
Now, was there some cultural issues with the first one now?
I don't think so.
1967, it was celebrated. The music does slap. The music
Oh,
is
yeah.
fucking great.
Everybody knows bare necessities.
All right. And then the second one. Did I see it? I can't remember.
Is the CGI all that? Like, did anyone see it? Do we know that it's like awesome?
I don't.
I saw it.
Okay.
I liked it.
I don't like this.
I liked it.
Okay.
All right. I don't.
97 for Bad News Bears. This
Jesus
really changes
Christ.
things.
I know. I have no thought. All right. You locked in?
I guess.
Original, I'll go 89. Follow-up, I'll go 73.
Original, I'm at 83, and the follow-up is a very good remake directed by Jon Favreau, I'm pretty sure, and it's really, really good. So I give it 89. It was well received.
Jungle Book, a classic, 87. I don't know anything about this new one. I said 65.
No, it's good.
The original Jungle Book is certified fresh at 88%.
Oh.
The remake of the Jungle Book is certified fresh at 94%.
Wow.
What did you say, Brian?
89.
Wow.
It's really good.
A lot of.
They
Yeah.
did a good job. The technology is good.
Wow.
Everything's good about it.
My thing is I always just do an automatic deduction for the follow-up because everyone goes, oh, it wasn't as good as whatever. But this evidently was.
It's solid. The little one would like this.
Okay.
Do you need a vacation from your ordinary life? In the future, a company can plant false memories into your head,
Recall.
This was
allowing a bored construction worker to feel like a spy with a secret mission on the planet Mars. In the original, Arnold Schwarzenegger breaks necks and screams puns like, "Screw you," as he rams a giant drill into an enemy's chest. In the remake, Colin Farrell teams up with Jessica Biel to take down the leader of the free world, played by Bryan Cranston, from both 1990 and 2012. Total Recall.
Total Recall was remade?
It wasn't very good. I mean, it might be good. Friend of the show, Cranston and John Cho are both in the remake.
Nice.
Hmm.
I didn't even know it was remade.
I love Kate Beckinsale so much.
Yeah.
I don't, well, see, you think about stuff like when Schwarzenegger had all his big taglines like "screw you" or
See you
whatever.
at the party, Richter.
Yeah, when he would do all that stuff. I'd be horrible. I would have been a horrible person in the writer's room because I'd be like, come on, don't say
He's
that.
hitting it with a drill. I mean,
It's so
because he
corny.
Really
It's so like
Screw
it's
you.
on the nose.
Yeah.
Can't we do better? I would have shot all that stuff down, and it all turned out to be the most memorable part of that guy's
Iconic.
career. All right, let's see.
I have
The
no
first
clue.
one, I think people like this film. The second one, I haven't seen it. What year was the second one from, Brian?
06?
Second one was 2012.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
All right, can't.
Oh, yeah. It was in the podcast era.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right.
Is it even fresh?
Did they love the first one? No. Okay.
It's just a matter of how low do I go for the second one. It's not good.
I can't. I have no idea on the first one.
All right. Write it in. Lock it in.
Okay.
All right. First one, I say 67. And the second one, I say 23.
I'm going to bet everything I own on the fact that you have not seen either one of these.
I've seen the first one.
What? I lost everything. The first one
I
is-
like Running Man better. I
What?
was like 10 when I saw both.
Total Recall.
That is your Sub-Zero.
The original Total Recall rules. I love this movie. I gave it a 89, hoping it's right
Wow.
around. It's really, really good. The second one is awful, and I'm going to say 22.
Damn.
22.
Well, do I get any street cred back by when I saw Hunger Games? I was like, well, this is Running Man.
It is Running Man.
Okay. So I said 77 for the first one and 45 for the new one.
The original Total Recall is certified fresh at 82%.
Damn.
The remake of Total Recall is rotten at 31%.
What did you guys say for that one?
I said 45.
I said 23 for that one. The 82, I was way off. My problem is I decided this was a genre that they weren't going to embrace, but it is good.
It's really good. Paul Verhoeven? Anyway. Pretty sure.
Finally, we couldn't address the original versus remake conversation without mentioning many remakes' current strategy: swap the genders.
Yeah, it's true.
Flashing back to 2000, we have a romantic comedy starring Mel Gibson and Helen Hunt about a man who can suddenly read women's minds after a bizarre bathtub electrocution. And if you thought that was a clever setup,
I like this
check
movie.
out this other romantic comedy starring Taraji P. Henson and Tracy Morgan about a woman who drinks a bizarre concoction that suddenly allows her to hear what men are thinking. So which is better? From 2000, What Women Want, or from 2019, What Men Want.
This could swing the game very easily because I have no idea what the second one. I like the first one, even though I don't think it's great.
I've never seen either. I'm just mad that Parent Trap and Freaky Friday didn't make this list. The classics.
I do it again.
They're pretty on the nose with the poster.
Yeah.
He has the power to hear everything women are thinking. Yep, that's
guess I
the
don't have to
movie,
see
okay?
That's it.
A kind of clever turn of phrase. Like, this is what this shit is about. This is like a Fast and Furious one. Cars, fast, bad guy, Vin Diesel.
Furious.
Like, here it is. Yep, that's the movie.
That's funny.
All right.
I like that Taraji's holding like balls in her hand. That's funny.
Mm-hmm. All right. The first one was a big movie.
Yeah, big rom-com hit.
It was a, I don't know if it's beloved, but it was a big rom-commer.
And this was before Sugar Tits
Well
and
before.
Getting Here
Oh,
and Blow
yeah,
Me. Okay,
yeah.
okay, so everyone liked
Oh,
him.
he was viable as a romantic lead
Okay.
at this point.
Yes.
Hmm.
All right. I'm trying to think now. Now, do we get a couple of woke points for the second one, with the
know nothing
gender and the
about it.
color and stuff? Or can we just go, this was horrible? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I have no clue.
All right. Let's see.
Wow.
I have no clue
I'm playing a
either.
little safe, I guess.
All right. And
Damn.
all right. We ready?
Let's do it.
I'll go 57 and 37.
Wow.
I went 67 and also 37. It says right there, February 8th on that second poster.
That's not a
never
good sign.
Never a good sign.
Well, I went 75. I thought people liked this movie, but again, critics, who knows? And 40.
What Women Want is rotten
Shit.
at 54%.
This is- you said 57.
Nice.
What Men Want
Fresh.
is rotten at 42%.
Well,
I just
I
knocked
was real
myself out.
close on that one, but I don't think it was enough to make up for previous guesses.
What Women Want is pretty good.
Gina Grad coming in with the 5-point deduction right at the top of the game, blasting you to the podium, firmly in third place
God damn it. Really?
with 95, leaving us Brian and
Not good.
Adam.
That's 8 movies, though.
It was a tight game all the way.
Was it?
Adam Carolla with your score of 76.
For 8 movies,
are
that's really
either-
good.
Yeah, it's not bad for 8.
You are either in first or second place. Bald Brian,
Come on. What do you have, 76?
Yeah.
your score means you have one reason to be happy, and that's because you won
Yes!
with a score of 60.
Oh, yeah. And see, for me, it's like I save my winning for the stage. You
Sure.
know what I mean? When we
Yeah,
play in
in
front of the
front of a big
audience,
crowd.
Understood.
that's where I shine.
You're a
Yeah.
game time player. You're not
At the office.
Allen Iverson.
Allen
you know what I mean?
Iverson.
Yeah.
I
Wait, let me do some classic Brian point shitting. Even though I'm pretty sure I won in Kansas City.
I don't think you
Took a
did.
bow and everything. I took a bow for something.
You
I was
definitely
wondering
took a-
why.
Well,
You
definitely-
did take a bow.
You
no,
took a bow.
my name was announced and I got up and I bowed. What game?
definitely-
Did we play anything?
You definitely took a bow.
Did I? Was I
You,
having
you took
some
a bow,
sort of
but I
was I a fugue
remember thinking,
state?
why is Gina bowing?
What are you talking about? Are you serious?
I was thinking
See,
that
this
too.
is why our court system is fucked.
Wait a
That's
second.
the black man I saw walking the liquor. I know it.
Well-
I know it like I know my own son's
Like
name.
I know I won the rock.
Somebody better
know.
figure this out because I took a bow for something.
I remember thinking the same thing, Chris. I was like, why is Gina?
Really?
No, yeah, I'm looking at the scores. You got second place.
Fuck!
Imagine the bow she would have taken the first.
Oh, it would have been a deep plunge.
Let's see. Oh, hey, get ready to take a bow.
Okay.
We have footage of
You
this.
won the Nobel Peace Prize.
Oh, thank you.
You
I
won the
couldn't have done it without any of
Publishers
you.
Clearinghouse.
Thank you.
Oh, New
I
York
should
Times
have come
best-selling
in.
author. Celebrated mother and wife. Take a bow just so we can lock it in. Community leader. Come on. Take a bow.
Thank you so much.
Philanthropist.
Thank you. I'd like to thank God. I'd like to thank my family.
We got coverage of this.
Thank
Size
you.
1 dress size. Take a bow.
I mean,
Take
that
a
was just
bow.
a matter of time.
Lock it in.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Super Bowl MVP.
I work hard. I play hard.
Won the Triple
you.
Crown of
It
the
feels-
Kentucky Derby, the Preakness.
It feels good.
Yeah, okay,
It
good.
feels
All
good.
right. Now good. Now it's locked in. We can get on with our lives here.
Hope it feels good.
All right.
Stolen valor.
No, I'm glad I brought it up. I didn't notice the bow part. I just thought it was a hometown crowd
She was
thing.
behind you. And she was bowing.
I literally,
Oh.
I
I was
literally
like, what is
stopped
happening?
everything to get off the stool
You
and
really did.
thank my audience.
Well,
I stopped everything.
I'm glad it all went this way because I was thinking I was on stage and Gina took a bow and
2
Chris
bows.
saw it and Brian saw it and everyone saw it. And then I'm like, oh, what's up with me that I didn't know what was going on? I should be more observant on stage or something. But if I was standing in front and you did it behind me, maybe
I really went for it.
that explains that. All right. Well,
Okay.
sorry about that.
All's well that ends well.
All right. Let me tell you about
Let's forget about all the games.
Tell you about Tommy John. Oh, spring has sprung, people, and you're going out there and doing a little hunting around for eggs. Tommy John hammock pouch underpants puts your eggs in one basket and keeps them there, man. Tommy John, the hammock pouch underwear. I'm wearing them right now. So much more comfortable. You'll do everything better. Innovations like air mesh, interior hammock, moisture wicking fabric with 4 times the stretch of competing brands. Legs never ride up and no rolling waistbands. Tommy John doesn't have customers. They have fanatics. Over 17 million pairs sold. I'm wearing them now. I would not leave the house without them. And if you're doing anything, like you're taking a walk or a jog or skipping rope or anything athletic at all, always wear your Tommy Johns. Free shipping and returns. Every pair is backed by the best pair you'll ever wear. It's free, guarantee. Right, Dawson?
Get 20% off your first order right now at TommyJohn.com/Adam. That's TommyJohn.com/Adam for 20% off. TommyJohn.com/Adam. See site for details.
All right, we'll take ourselves a quick break. Oh, we have a video of Gina bowing. Oh,
Really
KC.
drink it in.
Okay. Wow, that was fast, Chris.
But 4 points higher. Adam with the win.
Yeah.
I didn't hear it. I didn't want it.
Gina Grad, second place for 50.
The streak continues.
Maybe I was kidding. I don't know, but I really felt like a winner.
I
know,
thought you
this
were really
is-
proud that you got second place. That's
That's
why,
possible.
yeah.
But I just remember bowing, and I thought, well, why would I be bowing unless I won?
Maybe 4 points higher tripped you up. You know what I mean?
I just heard Dawson said my name so celebratorily
Yeah.
that I think I just sort of shut down after I heard my name.
So, like,
Gina Grad is the loser.
if a
Didn't
cop
have-
got on the squawk box and was pulling you over and said your name
Oh.
with a certain amount of zest, you would think you were going to get an accommodation from the city or a speeding ticket.
Waiting for the confetti.
Wow.
College just
Ticker
comes. I have bad news, Gina Grad.
Well, Doug Stanhope is on his way here. I loved his special, and he's a very interesting guy. I'm very interested in picking his brain. And also the whole man show thing. I never, Jimmy didn't like it.
Yeah.
I guess most people wouldn't like it. Somebody taking over
Yeah.
for you in a show
It's your baby.
that you created. I didn't have any feelings about it.
You were
which
at
was
home getting
weird.
paid for creating
No,
the show?
I wasn't getting paid. No, we weren't getting paid.
As creators of the show, you didn't get
No,
paid?
we did not. We did not own the show. We did not get paid. And
Lesson learned, I hope.
I was gonna say,
I
no
did
wonder
not-
Jimmy was pissed.
I did, but I don't know. I have a weird wiring with that. Like I'm like, they're doing the show. Because that was it. That was my only.
that is a weird wiring.
My only thoughts. Yeah. And I would watch it. It was interesting. I didn't think it was as good as what we did, but it was good.
Serviceable.
I was serviceable.
Fine.
I would watch it. The format was there. I think the problem with the remake is everyone thought the Man Show was something, but in reality it was something else. So they thought it was these guys chugging beer and yelling at women, but it was really a comedy show. And Jimmy and I would always be the butt of the joke. So we understood, it's like Super Dave Osborne. He's this big, pompous, bigger-than-life character. He has to get hit by the train at the end.
Yep.
If he accomplishes his boast,
Right.
then there's no punchline. You know what I mean? Then he is just a big, obnoxious guy who's a prima donna.
Right.
You have to...
It's Archie Bunker.
You can't go home with the prom queen.
Right.
You have to... That's how it works. And that's kind of how Benny Hill was.
Yeah.
Benny Hill was this, hey, and then it never worked. He never got the
his
woman.
face.
You know what I mean? And we liked Benny Hill, and we sort of modeled a little bit after that. So what the show was versus what people thought it was. Well, first off, half the people never saw it and just said,
the
it's a
name.
bunch of chicks on trampolines and guys looking up their skirts and stuff. But we were doing comedy bits. And when we left, I think between the producers and Joe and Doug, they started going into the direction that they thought the show actually was,
Right.
that everyone said, this is what it is.
Like in earnest.
And then it became a little mean-spirited and not what it was before that. I mean, Jimmy, it's like Jimmy marries a monkey. We go to porn camp. Everyone laughs at us.
Fuck your mom.
It's like, I bang my mom. Oh, wasn't it?
All the class.
Were you on stage with Korn? Was it Korn?
We're on stage
Playing
with
a fish.
Korn.
Yeah.
We got thrown out of
Right.
the band. You know what I mean? Like everything
great.
was a shit show. We never really landed on our feet.
Right.
Yeah, Jimmy and us we're in Korn. God, we used to film those things, man. I mean, Korn was playing I think they're playing the Forum, and the way we're able to get stage time with them playing the Forum and Jimmy playing the clarinet and everything is, we got to find that bit, Chris. It makes me laugh.
Behind the music, right?
Yeah, we went down there. I knew the guys from Korn, like we're coming down for sound check, and just filmed it in such a way where when they were doing sound check, Jimmy was just standing out there playing his clarinet. Was I playing the band show? Anyway.
Something ridiculous.
We got March Madness. We'll take a quick break. We'll do that right after this.
It's time to check Adam's voicemail.
Hey there, Captain Carolla. Just wanted to let you know that the soldiers are out on the streets doing your service. I was behind a guy at a left turn arrow turning into Lowe's. He went through the red arrow, and I followed him, saw him in the parking lot, asked him if he was a Carolla fan, and he reassured me he was. Good work, bud. Keep the words going out there.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
All right. Well, thank you. And put my chair out of the way. I'm up on my feet.
Yeah.
Got my belt.
You're ready position.
I'm in prone. All right. So, well, coincidentally, it's going to hear a familiar one at the top. All right. So these are all the perennial all-stars, and we'll see. Gina and Bald will vote, and we'll see who moves on to the second bracket.
It's time for another round of the big rants of March Madness. Yesterday, 3 pet peeves were sent packing. In the California Conference, graffiti paid their final respects before burying forest lawn flower guys. In the Pop Culture Conference, Colin Kaepernick didn't kneel before LeBron James and sent the Laker back to the lockers. And in the Big Government Conference, newcomer CDC Director Rochelle Lewinsky didn't have immunity against the onslaught of AOC. Now, 6 more of the round of 32 square off. First up, in our first matchup of the Classics Conference All-Stars, it's Red Turn Arrows versus the Lottery.
Red turn arrows. I was thinking about it philosophically moments ago. Like, what is going on? Okay, you pull up to the light. The signal is green. The arrow is red. And then you sit there waiting to be T-boned by a fucking trucker who's beaked up on fentanyl. There's nothing more dangerous than you just parked in the middle of the street for no fucking reason. There's cars going past you at 45 miles an hour and you're just a stationary subject. Target. The most dangerous place you can be on a racetrack is stopped on a racetrack, not moving at the speed. Stop stop. And there's no reason why you can't turn left. You turn left at every other fucking signal before that. And your grandfather and his grandfather, the forefathers and the founding fathers, they all turned left because there was no fucking arrow there. But also, it's crate training you. It's getting you used to sitting there for no reason. So when I get to PCH and I go, fucking turn right, everyone's sitting there going, whoa, what do you want me to do? It's red. We need a new term. Put it on the freeway signs. It's your turn. That's the new thing. Turn right on a red. No more left turn arrows. People, it's your turn. Whole campaign on a freeway sign. All right.
Ding, ding, ding.
The lottery. Gambling for people who have no fucking business gambling. We have decided somehow as a society that sports prognosticating and playing poker and gin and all, no, that would be very dangerous if we let people literally use strategy playing poker. That would be illegal in California. But if you want to walk into a fucking liquor store in a bathrobe and one slipper and put money that you got from the government down to get a fucking scratcher, well, that is all your own business, and we endorse that shit. It's a horrible message. I've said it many times. What if your high school guidance counselor said, yeah, I don't know, I got no ideas, play the lottery? You would fire that person. That'd be the worst advice ever. And what about the school? Oh, the money's going to the school. Really? Have you checked out the schools where they have lotteries? They're always fucking failing. And then the commercials are the worst. You win the lottery. You know what you should do with that money? Not put it away for college, not dental work. Rent out Dodger Stadium and have a softball game.
Oh, boy. Coming out strong with both.
I appreciate the red turn arrows going to overtime.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Getting
Yep,
a little
absolutely.
extra. Yeah, I thought it was petering out at one point, and then it came back with a surge.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, the lottery message is strong. We all believe in it. We all get why it doesn't work. But the first rant literally could save somebody's life. So I think we have to give it to the
As a public service, we got to move on red
Yeah.
turn arrows.
Let's go back to the California Conference for this matchup of leaf blowers versus the LA Marathon.
Leaf blowers. All right, first off, all you assholes that keep talking about we got to get electric leaf blowers to clean up the air. You can't clean up what they're launching into the air. They're launching bits of cockroaches that are decomposing in vulcanized rubber, and you know that Roundup spray? Every time you turn on the news, it's like, do you have cancer because you were exposed to Roundup? Yes, I am exposed to Roundup spray. Not the weed killer, not because I killed weeds, but because I got to walk down the street and fucking Jose's pointing the fucking cannon at me and it's filled with Roundup. Yes, I do have cancer now because of that. But look, we need to limit it. First off, it's illegal. It's illegal in Los Angeles. Do your fucking job. Stop writing fucking tickets to soccer moms and go out there. I know you hate the optics. Everything can't be optics. Like, we don't like the idea of taking these poor brown people and getting them to pay attention. Well, then take the law off the book. What is the optics? Enforce the fucking law, and no Saturdays and no Sundays. I can't fucking sleep anymore because of your racket machine. LA Marathon. All right, listen to me. First off, all you people out there, have the LA Marathon. You know when they do the LA Marathon? Just fucking bring it down to the Santa Monica Pier and have them go up and back on the Santa Monica Pier 277 times. Don't shut down the whole fucking city because a bunch of folks, sorry Gina, need to prove something to themselves, possibly because of the size of their genitalia. I don't like this. You know, how come when a guy buys a Corvette, we go, oh, it's because he's got a small dick. But when you fucking shut the city down by circling it for 9 hours, that means you have a huge hog? I don't think so. Well, maybe the mobility thing with the big dick. I'm going to get into that later. Here's my whole point. Get rid of here's the deal with the wheelchair competition. I said it before, I'm going to say it again. Who wins the marathon every year? The Kenyans? No, they don't. Not unless they're in a wheelchair. Then they'd kick the fuck out of us. That's what we need to do. Get a Kenyan in a wheelchair. Kenyans, wheelchair beat the women's time by 1 hour. 1 hour. How do you like them? How do you like them apples? Put them in Lieutenant Dan's wheelchair. That's the only fucking solution to this.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
there we are.
The first one was good, and the second one was inspired. I like bringing in elements of family members, of people in this room.
Personal.
Finally, when those wheelchair racers there.
Yeah, they've had it too good for too long. I think we all understand the message of the leaf blower. We're all coached up. I like where you went with the marathon. I thought it was fresh. I'd like to put it on record that Andy trips over his dick when he runs.
Yeah.
And I think we say marathon.
Marathon.
Finally, in the pop culture conference, a physical heavyweight goes up against some intellectual lightweights. It's DJ Khaled versus The View.
Oh, wow.
DJ Khaled, what a waste of fucking space. I mean, you know how we want to get rid of cows because they pollute too much? How much does that fat ass pollute? All he does is eat and fart all fucking day. He needs to go back to a job that he can do. You know what his calling is? Roofer. He could just walk in any house and go, you know where the leak is? Yeah, up there. They the leak. They're the leak. We the best. And by the way, yes, maybe we the best. Maybe when you're out there with Exhibit and Kanye and whoever other, Snoop Dogg and all the other, Mary J. Blige, yeah, then collectively, maybe we the best. But I want to know about you, because I don't think you're the best. You're essentially surround yourself with all this stuff, but you're a putrid nougat inside a beautiful, talented candy bar that I don't want to bite into. So, DJ, stay in Florida and point at your own fucking ceiling. Oh, The View. First off, they need to be sequestered. They need to be kept away from each other. I think they're polluting their own thoughts. You know when you take women, a thought. A thought. You take young women, you put them together, and they link up their periods, right? They sync their periods up. Then once they get postmenopausal, you put them all together, and the bitches all have the same crazy ideas. They're all fucking nuts. They sit there on a show called The View with 0 point of view. They all have the exact same view. Nobody would watch that show unless they were unemployed and home at noon on a fucking Tuesday. That audience, the second you have an employed audience that has some intelligence and a couple of brain cells to rub together, they would immediately burn that fucking set down. And they're sitting up there the other day and they're going, Tucker Carlson, Russian sedition. He's Putin's puppet. He needs to be locked up. Like, they're literally calling for another journalist who has an opinion different from theirs to be in prison for his opinion. Fuck The View.
He is winded.
I was going to say,
all
this
right.
is calisthenics, man.
Let's talk.
I, in my opinion, I'm open to other ideas. I think we're our first blowout of a competition. As much as I like the physical comedy of DJ Khaled pointing at the leak in the ceiling, the new idea that came to a mid rant was inspired.
I agree. I agree, but this is controversial because you say new idea, and I saw it. I was in here with you. I have never, in all of my years hearing about how shitty DJ Khaled is, heard an alternate employment opportunity for him. And that really stuck with me. I like the pointing. I like the roof. We might need a tiebreaker.
Call Dawson.
Let's go to New York. Let's go to the booth.
DJ Khaled.
Wow. All right, moving forward.
Tune in next episode for more in-conference clashes as we continue the first round of March Madness.
Do you need a break? I'm going to go lay down.
I'm a champion. I push through the pain. I rub some dirt on my brain. All right, is Doug Stanhope here? And I don't see the thing up there. All right, you want to check out the Korn thing as long as we're here? It's visual, but it's you get it. You get the audible part pretty good too.
Korn. Their legion of fans know them as hard-edged rock music visionaries. But what they don't know is this seemingly invincible band was nearly torn apart by the two members who helped bring them together. Tonight, Korn, the story beneath the music. Our story begins with Adam Carolla and Jimmy Kimmel, two wide-eyed, idealistic sophomores from Bakersfield High.
Believe it or not, when we were in high school, we didn't get a lot of girls.
It's true. I can't explain it, but we didn't.
No, and there were these guys in school, and they had a band, and we figured if we got in the band, it'd be good for the chicks. They'd flock to us like mice on
tuna.
On tuna, yeah.
The guys in the band, they were huge fans of our music.
I guess they knew we had something special to contribute.
Adam's dad had a van, and we had a lot of equipment to carry. And Jimmy,
we were pretty high.
But the combination of the band's talent and Adam's dad letting them use his van worked. They started small, high school dances, pep rallies, bar mitzvahs, and eventually grew to concert halls, arenas, and bar mitzvahs. Together they took the music industry by storm. Rock radio caught on, and soon sold-out concerts turned into massive hit singles, millions of albums, and thousands of adoring fans. But Adam, and especially Jimmy, did not handle success well.
We wrote the song Freak on a Leash one night after Jimmy. Well, let's just say he was tripping pretty hard. Either he was on drugs or ate some spoiled bologna or something. I'm not sure, but he was out of it. He thought he was a dog. He was running around the dressing room, biting people, humping legs. I mean, all kinds of crazy shit. It was just too much. And then he started peeing. Not just in his pants, everywhere, the dressing room. And that was the end of it. That was like, that closed the coffin, so.
The band tried to keep their problems private, but somehow the news leaked.
I called this press conference tonight to announce that Jimmy peed all over the rest of the band. Any questions?
The media had a field day. On October 22nd, 1995, Korn decided to part ways with Carolla and Kimmel forever.
Adam's dad sold the van, and I think we knew it was time to end it.
We left them.
We had a lot of new ideas, and quite frankly, those guys were holding us back.
While Korn went on to become one of the world's most popular bands, Adam and Jimmy quickly sank into cable television obscurity.
I don't know whatever happened to those guys. Last I heard, they were doing some show about farting.
Carolla and Kimmel, Korn's forgotten foot soldiers, faded from the public's memory, but a part of rock and roll history forever.
Busted like banjo. They're doing a show about farting. All right.
Those dudes are pretty good actors. They sold it.
Yeah, no one's better at being Korn than Korn.
That's right.
The role they were born to play.
Doug Stanhope is in the building. I'll hit JB Weld, and then we'll talk to Doug. World's Strongest Bond. That is JB Weld. If you're a DIYer or pro, well, you got to go with JB Weld. They've been around for over 50 years. You use, there's epoxy, super glues, putty sticks, wraps for projects big and small, and practically any surface, metal, wood, plastics, glass, ceramics. I've always used JB Weld, and I ran into these guys at their SEMA booth, and I went in to talk. And next thing you know, they're coming on board as a sponsor, but I've always used them. You keep it in your kitchen drawer, your toolbox, out in the garage. Also, proud owner of Herculiner, the original DIY truck bed liner. If you're looking for the world's strongest truck bed liner, Herculiner has you covered. And it's available at jbweld.com, Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart, AutoZone, Advance Auto Parts, O'Reilly, Amazon, Michaels, and more. Proudly made in the U.S. of A. All right, we'll take a quick break, come back with Doug Stanhope right after this.
Just the idea that the expression making fun could ever be a negative. You shouldn't make fun. What? I'm sorry, did I take some subjects that are ugly and dark and soul lacerating, painful, shitty, maybe unavoidable in life kind of stuff, and I made it fun? What a dick I must be.
Doug Stanhope on The Adam Carolla Show.
Doug is in studio, the special, Doug Stanhope, The Dying of a Last Breed. I watch it. It's available on YouTube, and it's very funny. And dates coming up, Sony Hall in New York City, and that's coming up April 7th and 8th, and then Key West, Comedy Key West, coming up April 15th, 16th. Good to see you, Doug.
If I knew I was going to have to listen to myself right off the bat, I would have had a double.
I think you're close to a double over there. So, Doug, I've always been interested in you because you're very well regarded, but a little reclusive, I guess, and not living in L.A. or New York or
I stay
San
under
Francisco.
the radar.
Yeah, where do you live?
Bisbee, Arizona is about 100 miles southeast of Tucson.
And why did you land there?
It's just a town I found when I lived in LA and I drive out going on the road. I had time to kill between a Phoenix date. I had 3 days to kill between Phoenix and El Paso once, and I was just driving back roads, and it's just a weird little eclectic town. And I always fucking hated LA.
Yeah. And who are you there with? Do you have kids? You married?
I got my wife Bingo and some friends down there.
And I know. We'll circle back to that for a second. But I'm curious. I'm curious your take on the Man Show.
I'm sure everybody listening is curious.
I've never talked to you about it. I've really not talked to Joe too much about it.
I thought you had done Rogan or had
I've
him
done
on.
Rogan a bunch of times, and he's been in here a few times, but I don't.
Subject never came up.
I don't remember getting into it.
This is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Oh no, it was terrible. That's the only time I've ever met you was in passing at that Stern show.
Mm-hmm.
You were coming off and I was going on, and I saw you in the hallway, and I just said, "Hey, sorry I ruined your show." And you go, "Yeah, that's more Jimmy's thing than mine."
Yeah, well, for me, I'm an atheist. We did 100 episodes. It was time to move on, and we moved on. So the story goes, and as Jimmy moved on to late night, I was just going to move on with him. Comedy Central wanted me to stay behind and keep going with the Man Show. Eventually, I just said, "No, I'm just moving ahead with Jimmy." Then, of course, was it the fucking Hollywood Reporter? I can't remember the magazine that then reported that Jimmy made a ill-fated move into late night. That was that article's 21 years old, and Jimmy's doing a show tonight. He made an ill-fated move, and then Comedy Central performed a Carollactomy and kicked me out. Which is, I had 18 dinners with them while they just said, "We'll pay you any amount of money to keep doing this." So keep your eye on reporters, people, because this stuff, it goes back a ways, which is the way reporting works is if you don't like someone, you're allowed to lie.
I like that.
That's essentially the way it goes.
Yeah, I heard a great thing that if before you believe any kind of media, read an article about something you're an expert in and see how much they fuck it up, and then just assume that goes across the board.
Read your own Wikipedia page.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, Entertainment Weekly says that Jimmy Kimmel's ill-advised. By the way, you want to do
and it calls us fresh.
You want to do a network late-night show? Why is that ill-advised defection? To the night, and
what a fool! I got paid $10 million for the first year.
Show's subsequent Carollactomy.
Oh,
that's reporting, people.
That's good.
So get used to it. Yeah.
Well, I heard
do something you're interested
guys,
in.
Had at some point, and we understand why, traded ownership for creative control. Is that true?
What happened? So what happened with us is, I was doing a late night show. Called Love Line on MTV. That was produced by Stone Stanley, the producers. We had a deal with them that if I did anything else in late night, that they would have to be attached. But the Man Show wasn't late night, but they were kind of in with William Morris and the agents and everything who worked for them. It was like our agents who represented us represented them.
Oh,
so there's a little collusion going on. And they convinced us that the Man Show, since it was like 10 o'clock at night, would fall under the heading of late night, whatever, so they had to be a part of it and own it. So what Jimmy did was Jimmy went, look, you guys can't have any input whatsoever into creatively what we're doing or any part of this. And as a matter of fact, you can't be here the days we tape. That's how much we value your input. And what happened to you guys is you may have got their input. I don't know.
It was forced upon us. And I remember right when they were deciding which episode they were going to lead with, there was so much shit in it, and we knew it was dog shit, and we really had no fight. Rogan was never there. Rogan could have gotten some shit done just through raw intimidation, but he was doing Fear Factor most of the time.
Oh, so he was just showing up.
Yeah, he'd stop in at the end of the night. Go, that sucks. That's stupid. All right, see you tomorrow.
Well, the thing about it is we just showed up at 9, 10 in the morning every day, sat in our offices, which were right next to the stage, and we just sat there and wrote and schemed and had meetings it's nothing but meetings and schemings and whatever. And we just sat there the whole day. So it was like a full-time job for us, and that's probably why the product was better, because you can't do that by just sort of showing up. I could only imagine.
Well, I mean, they just shit-canned so many great ideas that at the end so what do we have left? Oh, that guy's idea. All right, because we had one idea where we're going to do like a humanitarian aid, we're going to set up stripper bars for the homeless in the tent city in downtown LA, because that's two basic human rights that homeless people don't have. The right to have a cocktail at the end of a hard day, because you can't drink outside, and you can't be naked. So we're going to bring in UN-style Humvees and set up some tents with strippers in them and give cocktails to the homeless. And they said, no, you can't give alcohol to the homeless, because... All right, so we'll give them non-alcoholic beer. And this isn't a discussion. This is like, okay, they send the note to the lawyers and wait 3 days to hear back. And then they hear back, well, non-alcoholic beer still has trace amounts of alcohol in it. Then it's 3 days going back. And the final note, and this is true, was what if one of these homeless people has AIDS and bites one of our crew? And that's when you just throw your fucking papers up in the air and go, fuck this, we'll do the dumb thing.
Yeah, what if?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
what a comeback. Yeah. What if they have AIDS and bite somebody?
Well, yeah, how do you refute that?
Okay.
I guess that would be catastrophic.
Yeah, so we spent half our time, battling with the producers. It was always a weird thing because Jimmy banned them from the set, but I had to work with them on Loveline. So I'd see them the next night, and they'd be standing there, and how'd the taping go? Oh, it was okay. It would have been better if you guys were there.
It's missing one thing.
They were perfectly passive aggressive. Like they had to draw straws once to see who from production was going to come to the writer's room and tell us we had to stop doing bits where we insinuated that the audience were queers.
Yeah, it's a thing. There's a certain alchemy to things working, and everyone gets caught up in the format all the time. They go, well, now you got the format. You got the format. Everyone thinks it's the format, but the format was really just Jimmy and I being there all day, every day, and warding off all the input from all the people around us that had horrible ideas. And you have to listen to them a little bit in season 1. But by the time you get to season 3, if you're successful, they'll just sit in their office. And my thing, I always got pissed off because my dream is to stay at home and get paid, And they'd say, like, one of the guys, like Scott, we'd write in the middle of taping, and it's like, oh, where's Scott? He's in Israel. He's in Israel for 6 weeks. And then it'd go, but you got to feel bad for the guy because he's been banned from the stage. I'm like, he's hammering checks in Israel. He's in a fucking kibbutz beating off right now, and I'm working my ass off, and he's getting paid. Why do we feel bad for him? Doug.
Yeah.
Sorry. This is about you. I went off on a rant.
We had an idea. We wanted OJ was just like free. Mm-hmm. And we wanted to, what if we had OJ on at the end of every segment, just doing like a direct-to-camera Andy Rooney style of just to introduce him as Heisman Trophy winner O.J. Simpson, and he just complains about ATM fees or something. And they were like, I guess one of Stone or Stanley was like friends with Nicole Brown. But it's kind of funny. Or at least admit it's funny. No.
Or he just said that.
Yeah.
You never know, because like sometimes when they don't like your idea, they go, "Let me run it up the hall to legal." And they go in the hall.
I loved it.
They go take a shit and they come back. Yeah, Herb Wasselstein fucking almost fucking fell off his chair when I told him. You know, they do a lot of that shit.
Yeah, well, it's when comics email me and they go, "Hey, can you help me out? Like, how do I do this? All these clubs won't book me because I'm too dirty." I'm like, that's their way of saying they don't think you're funny.
Right, right.
And you happen to be dirty.
Yeah, so how do people deal with your material? I mean, it's like it's really edgy, but it's true, but it's controversial. Like,
at this point, I've developed my fan base, so they know what they're getting into, and they pay $50 to see me. I don't do showcase sets in LA or for fucking tourists for nothing. I work shit out on my paid gig, and I don't. I keep my opinions off Twitter. If I'm going to get fucking canceled, it's not going to be from a free tweet.
Well, not only that, but the special was. I told you I had to pee, and I could have pushed pause. I couldn't. I had to stay in the zone. I had to stay with you.
Thank you very much.
And you even take everything and just totally flip it by going, I'm trying to, I'd love to get Me Too'd, can't do it. Let me tell you an example of when they tried, and she botched it. Let me tell you the real story. And that fucking blew my mind.
Thanks.
That was a great story.
So are you sort of in the camp that I'm basically in, which is I, as a comedian, would like to say whatever I'd like to say, and you can't do that if you're hosting The Bachelor or you're on a platform that can pull the plug. We've seen many examples of it.
Right.
So I'm just going to find my own audience, have my own space, and do my own thing.
Exactly. And that's long before there was a cancel culture. I did that.
Is it because you sort of knew you weren't a good fit for Hollywood?
I don't like to work. That's why it was right after the Man Show. I went, I don't need to be here. There's nothing here that I liked. Like, even if the Man Show was great, it's fucking 14 hours days of writing and shooting and bickering and arguing and.
Yeah, I know it. I know people have this like it's show business.
Wow.
It's like you fucking early calls and long days and lots of insane arguments about nothing, and
for something that might get a naked laugh 8 months from now,
right?
Someone might chuckle on the couch or not, or you could get panned. When I get immediate gratification on stage, I have cocktails, I work an hour and 15, and no one fucks with me.
Where did they?
And I'm under the radar enough that no one scrutinizes me.
How did you and Rogan come together for the Man Show? Did you know Joe before that?
No, well, I knew him for probably 4 or 5 years, just from LA doing comedy, and so yeah, when he was up for it, they made us go through a
chemistry test.
Well, Rogan was in. Rogan was in definitely, but he was waiting to find out if NBC would let him out of his Fear Factor contract to do it on the side. Mm-hmm. So in the meantime, they had 10 of us where we'd pair up and write out a monologue together and perform in front of a fake, studio audience of a few homeless people they drugging off the street. So I just paired up with Dane Cook for a minute. Patrice O'Neill and I were paired up.
Wow.
He looked at me, he goes, I don't work well with other people. This will be a bonding.
Wow. Anybody else in that group we might
Ralph
recognize?
Garman. It was going to be either me and Dane Cook or me and Ralph Garman if Rogan didn't get the okay. But
Ralph was my old roommate.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Dan was on the Man Show, like as a bit player. I think guys we can't hang with. One of those.
Yes.
Or Museum of Annoying Guys. That was it.
Was he aware of this?
He was an actor. Okay. He was portraying not himself, but oversharing drunk guy or whatever it was.
It's funny as I bring up Rogan and Fear Factor. I would always get the call, maybe about the last few seasons they would call and gauge my interest in hosting Fear Factor, and what they were doing is. It was probably Joe renegotiating a contract, and the way to slow his rolls to go, we talked to Carolla and he's interested at $15 grand an episode, and you're asking for 30. So bring it down. There's a lot of that goes on. It's sort of like David Letterman, right? He could have been followed by Jon Stewart. Now, would you like a 33-year-old Jon Stewart following you?
Nipping your heels
in the late night thing? So you get the thoroughly unlikable Craig Kilborn. So you go, why the fuck would this guy follow? Craig Kilborn is opposite of Letterman, and he's wildly unlikable. But Letterman's like, I'll have that guy follow me because 5 years of Jon Stewart following you, and now you got to renegotiate.
Yeah,
and they're like,
out.
hey, people like this Stewart guy a lot. There's a lot of that strategy in show business.
Yeah. Did you ever watch Our Man Show?
Yeah, I would watch it. I liked a lot of parts of it.
I didn't.
See, for me, look, we were talking about this yesterday, which is as a comedian, you can watch other comedians and go, maybe that didn't get the laugh that they were hoping for, but I can see there's elements. Like I can see there's parts that are
Where
working.
they're going, yeah.
Now, maybe you shouldn't be on a big show and doing that. Maybe you should be in a smoky club. But what I'm saying is like, look, it's still you and it's still Joe Rogan. Like you're both interesting, smart. You take approaches to things that are sort of, you sort of flip the script on things and stuff like that. And I was watching, just kind of going, oh yeah, I can see that thought. Like that was interesting what they were doing.
But they'd poke holes. I remember the first day I sat for a run through, and I'm sitting in a chair like this, and the director comes to the voice from God, says, Doug, could you sit up straight and look like you want to be here? And I'm like, that's not what I do.
That's not me.
I slouch and I'm grumpy. That's my thing.
Well, and also what you gotta realize too, it was 4 years of Jimmy and me and Daniel Kellison not listening to anything they said ever, and then you guys come in, you got fresh blood in there where they can finally get on the blower and tell someone what to do.
Was Zoe Friedman involved with yours?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Zoe, I remember the first day we taped.
That's Bud Freeman's daughter.
Oh, wow.
You have to know Joey Coco Diaz.
Right.
We're going to have a big fat Joey Coco Diaz, and we got it on the first episode, one of the episodes, where when the opening of the show, he bursts through the Paper Man Show thing butt naked and just runs through the audience, and Zoe was like, is this what you call Man Show? This is what the Man Show is to you?
Wow.
And Rogan's like, yes, absolutely.
Like you're impugning the sanctity of the Man Show.
I dealt with her, and I dealt with, I'll think of her name in a second. Her dad, Chris will find it. Her dad wrote most popular boxing book of all time.
Oh, you brought this up.
The Sweet Science, and I'll think of her name in a second. But yeah, it was
Nick Liebling.
Nick Torch.
Liebling, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Good call. Good pull. Yeah, that was very matronly over there. So the Man Show was the executives on Comedy Central were middle-aged women, if you could picture that.
Okay.
So, and Debbie Liebling, she had an ass full of Daniel and she had an ass full of Jimmy, but she loved me. And they would always say, call her, Adam. Like, we're not getting anywhere.
Sweet
You
talk.
can talk to her. There was always a lot of good cop, bad cop. And I would call her and explain to her why, the tuna-flavored douche is really not offensive. And here's why, Debbie. Now listen to me. And she would tend to listen a little more to me than she would. I don't know if she liked, I don't know what the thing was with her.
There was a charm.
We got along.
If you just pulled a random 10 people off the street and said, Jimmy Kimmel, Adam Carolla, which one's the good cop, which one's the bad cop, this would be shocking to them.
Well, Jimmy was like pretty headstrong.
Yeah.
And he was like, he literally told the producers, you cannot come on this stage. Like when he was working, when he was like in his zone. And, the thing about comedy is like you go, I think this is funny, and then everyone tries to talk you out of it who isn't funny. Jimmy just would have none of that. That's
like
probably why he is who he is.
I was overly polite. I mean, I did like I was starting to say when they told us what episode they were going to open with. It was like all the worst shit, and I literally got down on the floor and did a children's temper tantrum on my back, stomping. Please don't do that. We're gonna get fucking executed if you put that dog shit. Put that out like the 11th episode. Like, start with something fucking strong that shows a difference there. And they just don't fucking listen. And
yeah, well, the problem is you gave them a vote, and that's where the danger is. People that don't know it voting on it, and it's pretty epidemic. It's an epidemic in Hollywood. Just lots of it's a weird business in that you have. The gatekeepers of comedy are the least funny people on the planet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when I used to work on a construction site, the foreman wasn't humping drywall and busting out stucco, but he'd done it all.
Yeah.
He knew how to do it, and he could tell you were doing it wrong.
Yeah, he could take over for you if you didn't show up.
Yeah, he was 15, his dad had a crew, and he was on it and all that kind of. These are people that have nothing to do with comedy. I always wanted to do this experiment, which is find, the Nancy Tellem, the head of comedy at ABC or whatever, find people she went to high school with and go, guess who's running the comedy division of ABC? Nancy Tellem. They go, that unfunny bitch. She never made anyone laugh. She was so dour.
Yeah, and they all have business degrees. They're not. They could have been inserted at Morgan Stanley. It didn't have to be comedy.
And that's why if Rogan had been around, because as he's intimidating, and you go, he's never gonna fucking hit you. Well, fucking Rogan, man, I wouldn't want to fuck with. Well, it's not like Rogan, but he would provide that presence and that demeanor where I couldn't. I had no fight.
Did he know? He just didn't really care.
Well, he just didn't have the time to. That guy was like, he would work, 14-hour days on Fear Factor, come to the office for a couple hours, and then still go and do an hour set for nothing at the Comedy Store. And this is a machine. But
what is a day like for you when you're not traveling or doing comedy? Like, is it just get up and do whatever the fuck I want? And bumfuck
pretty
Arizona?
much. Yeah,
wow.
It's praying for another quarantine. It's the best time of my life.
Did it? What was it? What were the rules in your town, if at all?
Well, I have a big enough spread that, and most of my friends are, they don't have friends or families or jobs, so they're naturally quarantined. So we'd all just hang out and watch movies on the patio at night and.
Sounds like paradise.
Cocktails and just fuck off, basically.
How much
crossword puzzles? Something I never did in my life, and I started during quarantine. Crossword puzzles.
How much do you have to turn over material? Because I know we were talking about it, or you were talking about it in your stand-up special about the woman who died of brain cancer who would come to every show, and there's that feeling. We just did some shows in Kansas City, and we did a live pod and a stand-up. But the stand-up show after Friday night, the person was like, I'm coming back tomorrow night. I'm like, you're going to hear a lot of the same shit. And they're like, I don't care. And I'm like, I care. You shouldn't have said anything.
It's my biggest fear. I beg people not to come back. And don't tell me if you are, and fucking certainly don't sit up front. I had a guy in London that sat right up front. I had 3 nights in a row in a theater in the same seat, just staring at the same shit. And by the 3rd night, I go, have you been the same guy for... And he's like, yeah. And that was the night all the critics were there. And I just tried to pull any other material that he hadn't heard out of my ass. And that was the only time I didn't get fucking great reviews.
It's an interesting wiring because there's... a club, a theater, whatever, there's 300 at the minimum amount of people, and it goes up from there. And that one fucking person, if you're looking at him, you're like, I'm going to alter this whole shit for the other 499 people. They can suffer as I stumble through shit that's not good material that I barely remember because I never do it, but I will do it for this person who I don't know.
That's why I rarely do more than one show in a town.
Yeah.
for that reason.
You got to do what Billy Joel does. He saves the greatest, best seats in the front, like 10 of them, and pulls some poor schmucks from the rafters and puts them down because he wants to see people who are excited, not people who are just ignoring him.
That's a great idea.
You are 100% right. Have I ever told the story on this show that I went to a Billy Joel concert at the Oakland Coliseum and got that seat?
Are you
Many
serious?
times.
I was
Many times.
Have I really?
I've never heard that because he doesn't want to see rich guys staring at their phone.
I was elbows on the stage. I was in the front row.
So it's
I
true.
was the Stormfront tour. I was 12 years old, and my parents, we got there early. I couldn't go by myself, and me and my 12-year-old friend and my parents got there early, and we're in the 80th row way back there, and my mom sees the guy going around with some tickets, like the guy with a lanyard and a tie, and she's like, "Hey, this is a good time for my mom to be bossy because she's like, hey, if you're looking for people to be in the front row, my son and his friend will be really loud and really into it. They love all the songs. Gave me 2 tickets.
Wow.
I sat in the front row on the Stormfront tour.
And then, but also what we are always jealous of with musicians is no one goes, "Oh, Piano Man again. You played that last time you were in town."
They'll burn the place down if you don't.
Right.
Yep.
I hosted a special for CISO, was the streaming service that fucking died. Everything I touched dies. But I was Doug Stanhope and Friends, basically, when I hosted. And I hadn't been on stage in 6 months because my wife had been in an accident and I was taking care of her. And so that was my first show, was filming this fucking special. And it was South by Southwest. Mm-hmm. So it was like a small room and all fucking industry. All the people, you could only get in if you had the fucking Black Mountain fucking $750. If you have $750, you're not going to laugh. Like you're probably a douchebag.
Yeah.
And it was just the worst audiences. We had 2 audiences, and they're just like just the people that Billy Joel replaced came to that.
I know you're friends with the great Michael Biehn, Caelan's dad. How did that come about?
His son works for us.
No shit.
Oh,
You're
you
Michael
didn't know that?
Bihn's son, and he's not here. Call that fuck. Why didn't he come? He said he.
He was just getting back from New York, I know. So
But he called me yesterday and said, "Hey, if if you want to meet up somewhere," I go, "I'm just doing a podcast, fucking day and night," and he didn't mention.
He told me he talked to you, but then that was it. He goes, "All right, have fun."
There's still time. There's half hour left in the show.
He could have been here.
What? How'd that come about?
How come he never told me that his son works for
That is weird.
Adam Carolla? I don't know. He might have told me. We both have the same kind of memory.
He's told me that he's told you at least. He's a big fan of yours. Oh, apparently not. I don't know. He doesn't have the best memory. That's right.
No. When his dad talks, it's a game show. It's like, oh yeah, he was in that. What's the movie with the? Yeah, there's the guy with the dog, Turner and Hooch. Yeah, Turner and Hooch. But he was the guy that, and so you're just constantly filling in his blanks.
Yeah,
it's like a human Mad Lib.
What is the origin story of that friendship?
He moved to Bisbee. He told me partially.
Oh.
Well, because he was a fan of mine, and I always talked about Bisbee. And he was in Tombstone because he was doing some like signature thing because he was in the movie Tombstone, and came to Bisbee and fell in love and bought a house, and then
I'm intrigued with this Bisbee
I know.
now.
You're about to blow it
How what's a house here that would be $3 million? What's that cost in Bisbee?
I don't know. I the last house I bought, I have 3 houses, I guess. But the one that I bought like 4 years ago for $51,000 is now listed on Zillow for like $120 because since quarantine everything's doubled. But yeah, you could still
can get a house.
Gretchen Bonaducci lives there, and
Danny's
Know her
ex.
too. Yeah.
Danny's ex-wife?
Yep.
Yeah, and she has 2 of the biggest houses in Bisbee. One's like the Greenway Manor. It's like a 14-bedroom. I think she got that for $500,000, and the other one she has an airport hangar in the house, and she got that for like $395. But now they'd go for double that.
Wow.
Median home price in Bisbee, $189.
Oh, affordable.
I'll take 5.
I always remember Gretchen Bonaducci, and it was funny because I was thinking about her as I was.
That's the
talking
Bisbee
earlier.
walk of fame. It's me, Gretchen, and Michael Biehn.
Oh man, TMZ tour bus. I know it's a little off the beaten path, but it is worth it. That's Doug Stanhope taking a piss on his lawn. Everybody, don't mind him. He's a little gruff in the morning. That's all. Yeah, I was thinking of Gretchen because Danny would always announce with pride, "She's a size 0." That was his thing, which I don't know. I don't feel like that's something to brag over.
Yeah.
Dead people are size 0.
That's true.
You know what
Now,
I mean?
yeah.
So material. Sorry, how you write on stage? Do you sit home and because you have your fans that come out to see you all the time. You're always talking about wanting to turn it over.
Always notepad beside the bed, and anytime you think of something, cocktail napkin, put it together, and then when it's time to go back on the road. Well, usually, COVID's fucked everything up time-wise because I usually had a schedule, like over 18 months. All right, this is coming together, and then you do all this, the cities that you do here, and then Canada, UK, Australia, and then you're like, all right, now I'm out of places. Everyone's heard this.
Right.
But over that time, you've developed other shit, and you have stuff in the can, so you put out the special, take the bones that you had left, and build on that and start over.
How many dates a year would you, pre-COVID do?
Not that it was around 2 years before I'd have to tape something and put it out. So, what would you guess, Hennigan? I don't
manager
60.
So you're going out every weekend.
If you look up my website, past dates, past tours,
your guy says 150 a year.
All right, that sounds right.
I like that you're underselling it. So you're gone every weekend.
No, we'll go out for big chunks. Like in May, we'll start Midwest, and we'll drive. Start in Milwaukee and drive east through upstate New York, and then down through the southern states and Carolinas. Cut through Pittsburgh, probably end New Orleans or San Antonio, and then we'll do all that driving, and so that'll probably be like 5 or 6 weeks, and then take some time off. Then UK in September. But I always usually take off Thanksgiving through Super Bowl completely.
I like driving from the one gig to another gig. It's a real blessing that I think people look at as sort of a curse. Like, we got to drive from here to there. You see the country, man. You see the shit out of the country, and then also, as I was saying to Chris when we were at where'd we go to have barbecue in KC last? Joe's. We're sitting in Joe's barbecue in KC a week ago, and it was just sitting there, and I was like, is there any chance under any circumstance that you would be in this restaurant in Kansas City enjoying this barbecue if we didn't do this? There's no, we've been in places that Guy Fieri hasn't been to just because we're on the road, you know, just and you see the people and you like interact, and I don't sound like Huell Hauser, but there's something nice about
on the road with Charles Carolla.
That's right, and people look at it as like, oh, we got to drive. It's like,
this is amazing.
Yes, you get to see everything and talk to everyone.
Yeah, and people would assume that for some reason that performers or celebrities or whatever don't want to talk to the normal dude walking down the street, but that's not the case.
Yeah, enjoy it.
We always try to do it at least every 2 years, and there's no money there, but to do the Mountain Time Zone run, to go up from through New Mexico, Colorado, Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, back down through Utah, and end at Flagstaff is again, it's shit money. There's no major cities. But it's so worth it. It's so refreshing and wide open spaces. There's not traffic. You don't have to worry about, if GPS says you're going to get there in 6.5 hours, you're going to be there because there's not going to be any holdup on the highway in Wyoming.
Yeah, it's a great way to see the country. All right, Doug, you want to hang out with us because we're going to do the news. First, I will tell you about Battle Box. Yeah. How are you going to find your new favorite piece of outdoor gear? Sign up for Battle Box, and it'll find you. Monthly subscription for hand-picked outdoor survival and everyday carry gear. Name brand, high-quality products every month at half the price. Just pick the box that works best for you and get tested and vetted products selected by a team of outdoor professionals delivered to your doorstep each month. BattleBox has shipped over 1 million boxes since 2015. They really have great gear, high-end, high-quality, top-shelf outdoor gear. Sign up, receive, survive. Don't miss another BattleBox mission. It's BattleBox, right, Dawson?
From now until March 31st, get a free mystery box worth $115 plus dollars with any new subscription at trybattlebox.com/Adam. That's a free mystery box worth $115 plus dollars right now at trybattlebox.com/Adam. Trybattlebox.com/Adam.
All right, quick break. Back with Doug Stanhope in the news right after this.
The news with Grad. News with Gino Grad. Breaking, viral, weird crime, protest, politics. Give me news with Gino Grad. Stuff they saw on TMZ. Joe Biden, Kamala. Meet news with Gino Grad.
The news with Gina Grad.
Well, a lot of Hollywood stars have gotten back together. This time it's not to sing Imagine, it's to sign a letter. They're signing a letter to City National's parent company, the Royal Bank of Canada, to defund the Canada Gas Pipeline. The letter, signed in solidarity,
finally
urges Royal Bank of Canada to withdraw support from the Coastal Gas Link pipeline, effective immediately. More than 65 of the who's who.
Are these Canadian celebrities?
Mark Ruffalo, Leonardo DiCaprio.
I was going to say Mark Ruffalo, like he is the cherry on the top of the douchebag, pompous, blowhard sundae.
And I can prove it in 1 second.
And then there's got to be Captain America, that other fucking douche.
Let's see. We have Ben Stiller, Scarlett Johansson, Taika Waititi, Jane Fonda.
All experts in the energy industry. Listen, assholes, we don't have... The renewables aren't there yet. We're not there yet. We all, in principle, love your idea. Solar and wind. Let them power the earth. This is awesome. Let everyone have an electric car. Solar and wind are like less than 10%. And, 4% of cars are electric. And it's maybe 1%. I think it's very low. We're not there yet.
I think war still runs on oil.
Yes, I'm with you, but the deal is we can either create our own energy or get it from the worst people on the planet.
Those are your choices.
Who use that money to buy more shit to kill other people. That's where we're at. So I don't like pipelines either, but I don't want to give Iran and the Saudis.
Yes. It's a war for solar. Eventually, that's going to be.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
Of course. Well, I can prove the Mark Ruffalo point. He did do the video, and I'll show you, 15 seconds of it.
Yeah.
Right now, major banks like the Royal Bank of Canada are financing a fracked gas pipeline bulldozing through the land of the Wet'suwet'en Nation in northern British Columbia, Canada.
Oh, this is the part there.
The Wet'suwet'en hereditary chiefs never consented to this pipeline construction through their territories, which would risk the sacred headwaters of the Wazinqua River.
All right.
But
Have
like
it
you
your
said,
way.
nobody wants it.
Take a left at Albuquerque.
It's like, look, here's how we do shit. We go, we want to build high-speed rail from here to Vegas. And then someone goes, yeah, but there's an indigenous frog that's in a river. And we go, all right, fuck it then. Sorry, that's not how society works. You have to figure it out. But progress is progress.
I have no idea what I'm talking about, but when it comes to just the land being sacred, I don't know if they're fucking up the land in this. I don't pay attention to the news or care about the earth.
Salmon.
All right, if you're poisoning salmon, I would think that's bad, but just because it's sacred, like, you could fucking accidentally wipe your ass with my mother's ashes, and I go, it's an honest mistake. I shouldn't have had her in the bathroom.
This is probably a good
there's
time to
nothing
bring that.
sacred like that. Like people.
No, that's what we do. You go down, if you go down to fucking Wilshire and you go down to La Brea Tar Pits, someone is going to point at the fucking Arco station and go, you know what? Millions of years ago, there were wolves. And it's like, yeah, no shit. There was nothing here.
You mean
and
it
now
wasn't the SBE building?
Yes, now there's shit here.
I mean,
That's
do
how life
you
works.
get a thrill out of being on the same stage that fucking Fatty Arbuckle has been on? Like all that stuff is lost on me. All that trivia. So yeah.
I don't.
My ancestor are buried here.
Listen, I like my friends a fuck a lot more than I like my family. That's all you need to know. The blood and it doesn't mean shit to me. I don't like when people talk about that. And by the way, it's usually blowhard celebrities doing it on the behest of the others. Right. All right.
I'm still working out the math on how one would accidentally wipe their ass with Doug Small's
I was trying to pull an analogy out of
First
my
of all,
ass.
Don't keep that in the bathroom.
Yeah.
That is the worst place to keep it.
I don't know where she is. She's somewhere in the house.
With enough pressure, like coal, perhaps it could become
like
a sort of paper. Right.
Okay.
I tried to sell her on eBay because she was a cat lady. She was a hoarder, chain smoking cat lady, and so I thought I'll sell her ashes on eBay and for the Humane Society, and and it was going madhouse until. Evidently, it's not against just eBay rules, but it's against federal law. So,
to sell the ashes of a remains?
Yeah.
What was it going for? What was the bid up to?
I'm sure it would have gotten into the many thousands because we do eBay yard sales with just my stupid jackets that I wear on stage. And my fan base they're
rabid.
What's the most one of your jackets has gone for?
$600-700.
Nice.
That's not bad.
It's a nice profit.
I got Captain Stubing's jacket, and that thing was like $80 or something. It was. I don't want to undersell the one, but
Stubing is no Doug Stanhope.
It's no Stanhope. It's been said many times. No, Stubing's not Stanhope, and I know it's a vernacular and people bring it up a lot, but it holds true.
No.
But yeah, we steal the Bibles out of our hotels on the road, and we sell them at the merch booth for. Like outrageously, and I tell him, and Tracy at the merch booth says, "You're getting fucked on this. Like, there's no cost to this, and we're selling it to you for $75." And then we like raise them because more and more hotels don't put Bibles in there. So like now it's just like fucking gas prices are going up. Sorry, supply and demand.
Do you sign it?
Yeah, we have it personalized. He's got a stamp. This Bible's stolen exclusively.
Well, we need a pipeline because we're running short on Bibles. We should say that to Ruffalo. Hey, we're thinking about making a Bible pipeline right over the indigenous people's land.
How is there not a federal law against selling stolen Bibles?
Well, cosmically,
technically, they're not. That's why the Gideons put them in hotels, is for you to read and take them.
Okay.
Spread the good word. Speaking of that, actually, Sharon Osbourne is returning to TV. I told you she's moving back to England. She's reuniting with an old friend. Not sure if you're aware of this. She, when she was fired from the Talk last year after defending Piers Morgan, she's joined the UK's Talk TV, which also features Piers Morgan. He made the announcement on Twitter saying he's looking for somebody in a cohort that's opinionated, fearless, funny, knows their own mind, a little bit of a loud mouth, makes global news, and it's her. And she'll host a new current affairs show also called The Talk on the channel, but different show. So she and Piers co-hosts.
Chris, there's a thing. One of the things someone threw up on YouTube is me on Good Morning LA on Channel 5 or something saying, who the fuck is Piers Morgan?
Oh, yeah, that's
I don't know why people
classic.
like that, but it got a lot of
I was just
traction.
going to say, you're the news.
Yeah.
She makes global news. Yeah, it's you.
Yeah, we're talking about it.
That's your fault.
That's right, but
it's your fault.
But we like
Shame.
talking about her.
Well, and then I didn't like Piers Morgan. I thought he was kind of a blowhard when he took over for Larry King. But then later on, he got a little outspoken, and I think I've turned the corner.
Was this like Jillian Barbary, like Good Day LA, Dorothy, what's her name?
I don't know. Sam
Rubin. Oh,
Rubin.
Okay, yeah.
Kids LA.
Right, gotcha.
Oh, well, it's got
do you
1 million
think he's
views.
when he becomes outspoken for the people like that? Can you see through the facade when it's someone you know is doing it just because other people will talk about it, and he, like people that have no real opinion whatsoever, but they know
theater.
Like John Taffer from Bar Rescue. He'd seen the template so many times that he knows, okay, I have to be a dick in every episode, and I'll be a dick at this. Between, and scene 3, I'll be a nice guy, act 3.
I get the circus aspect to show business and the caricatures and all that kind of stuff. But the answer is no. I'm wildly naive. When people say shit, I just go, that's what they said. That's what we do.
Well, that's what I've always wondered about televangelists is, do they believe it? Is it something that they actually believe, or is this just the best game in town?
Well, the scary part of that, as Dawson started the show with, is I'm wondering about that with news and security experts and stuff now. I mean, the Hunter Biden laptop just got authenticated, but everyone knew it was authenticated a year and a half ago, and the heads of all these security apparatus signed things going, this is Russian collusion. I mean, James Comey, like the biggest, heaviest hitters in that world, all said, no, this is Rush. This smells like Russian collusion without any investigation or anything. So the Holy Roller guys, I'm sure it's just a grift that they sort of believe, but they also want a golden toilet or something. It scares me when it gets into the reporters and the investigators and the politicians and the FBI and the former CIA head, director says, that's when it gets more real for me.
Yeah, I'd be more terrified of the snake handling, West Virginia evangelicals that aren't making money because, well, you obviously believe it,
right?
Because what's the upside if you don't? You get bit by a snake.
Not getting a new yacht. Yeah.
I tend to still living in a trailer.
Yeah.
I tend to believe they believe it. We have me talking about Piers Morgan. I wasn't planning on talking about it. He just brought it up.
Well, we've just cut out the middleman. We used to pretend like we weren't all insane narcissists, and now it just came on. Who's Piers Morgan, by the way, and who decided in advance we're all in love with this limey? He's okay. I mean, Piers, you want to keep talking? I'm better than Piers Morgan. You're better than Piers Morgan. Why is this thing like nobody can do what I do? Shut up, you blowhard. There's so many people that are better than you. Are you nuts? You're okay. You're lucky to have the gig. We should have run you out of here. We really should have. He's not very good.
No, I agree.
But who decided? It was like we had Piers Morgan. Hey, we have chubby guy in his 50s from England who we've never heard of. Fever. Who cares about this ass? Jesus Christ.
Well, this is going to run in a loop for the next year.
Yeah.
You just made this man.
He's an idiot. I mean, he's okay at his job. He does a fair to middling job of interviewing people. Before The Apprentice, I'd never heard of this ass. What's the big deal?
But do you think that there's...
we got it. These things, catch me early in the morning or late at night. I'm very vulnerable. These morning shows, like you get up at 6:40, you go to bed at 2, you get up at 6:15, and you come in there and you're agitated.
Yeah, I don't do those.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
This was 11:15, and
that's
plenty of time.
Yes,
that's an early call for you.
No, that's about perfect.
No, perfect. Well, we have some Ron Jeremy news.
Oh boy.
Right.
Yeah, he was apparently too incoherent to participate in a key hearing on Thursday, which led the judge to suspend the case until a full mental health evaluation has been completed. USA Today reports that Jeremy's lawyer, Stuart Goldfarb, told the judge that his client did not recognize him, appeared confused, tried to talk to him, but was having none of it.
Jailhouse wine.
That's right.
That's what it is.
That's right. The judge then ordered Jeremy to undergo psychiatric and neurological exams.
I knew Ron back in the day, and
everybody did.
This is
you couldn't avoid Ron Jeremy.
He was everywhere, and for a porn star, he was very lucid and funny. He's Jewish, so it's like he was kind of funny, kind of a ham.
A teacher in another life.
Yeah, like in New York or something. The point is this. Is this some sort of mafia boss?
Right. All of a sudden,
thing?
Jimmy the Chin.
Right.
Yeah.
The guy
Harvey Weinstein in a wheelchair.
The guy that would wander around in his bathrobe outside this social club.
Very Junior Soprano.
He's going to be in jail like for the rest of his life for ostensibly doing stuff he got paid for earlier in his career, So he's going to rot in jail.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he doesn't want that.
Yeah.
Is this part of the ruse?
It would be a smart defense, right?
Hasn't Garagos talked about client prep? You know, how you dress, how you address the court or whatever. Like the whole science.
When they wheeled Weinstein out, and he never looked worse.
Oh, I mean, yeah, he will tell you how to dress.
Right.
Garagos will. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, let's go back to the lawyer. Here he is defending him in a little press conference outside. I love this argument.
Oh, hey, can you, Chris, I'm going to ask you to look for something. Something makes me laugh. Remember that last interview with Jerry Lewis?
Oh, yeah.
Where they're like, are you friends with Dean Martin? I don't know. Are you? Like that's how he gave the...
Right.
He was horrible. Yes. Find that, because Garagos says when he goes to Miami once a year and talks to the League of Justice, of the lawyers, the trial lawyers group of America.
Wonder Woman, Superman, Aquaman.
That's right. The power team doubles.
The
or
Justice League.
Yeah.
Wonder Twins.
When he goes there, he says, when you are prepping your client to be deposed, watch this Jerry Lewis interview. That's exactly, because when you're deposed, they go like, they're like, and did you have a business related? I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't recall.
The worst thing you do is start getting chatty.
I've seen versions of this almost combative, like don't remember.
Right.
A lot of that in hearings.
We'll play this clip, but then because he plays.
That sounds like me in any social interaction, much less court.
Well, this is the ultimate defense. You'll enjoy it.
Everyone knows who Ron Jeremy is. He's been with over 4,000 women the past 40 years, and he claims he's running ahead of Wilt Chamberlain in that arena. There's absolutely no reason for him to ever be aggressive with women. He's had more women than you can count.
Don't you love that?
He's absolutely innocent of the charges.
It's an angle.
It's not a close call.
It's an old
It's
angle.
been a dated trope,
many times.
But guess how many women? Why would he rough with women?
You're accusing a guy who works at Baskin Robbins of stealing ice cream from Thrifties. And if I'm his attorney, I'm going to go, look, he's got all the scoops he wants over here.
But he hasn't worked at Baskin Robbins in quite some time. And he might be
Hearsay.
And the ice cream's expired.
Right.
Still, it's an angle.
It is.
It's an angle.
A trusted and true
It's a
angle.
choice.
Right.
Do we have Jerry in his interview?
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about retiring?
Got to be.
Why?
This
Was
is
there
how you
never a
depose
moment
people.
that you thought it might be time to retire, or you would want?
Why?
Bob Hope, George Burns, Sinatra. Do you see similarities with them?
None.
None? You're on tour now. What else do you have planned? Or do you have anything else lined?
Yeah, but nothing we want to talk about.
Do you have a favorite story about like Dean or Frank Sinatra or somebody that you worked with that you'd like to share?
No.
Not at all?
None.
How about do you have an unfavorite story you'd like?
Nope.
All right. I mean, Mark shows this and goes, this is how you prep your client. And it's so funny because it's true. Like, you can talk to them, like, don't get into the finances, or we don't want to hear, keep it to a minimum, whatever. But show them this. That's how you get deposed.
That's how you stonewall.
That's
with the best of them.
God, you'd be the worst witness. You'd start off good.
Gina would be the worst. Here's what I remember. I bowed.
It was
and then he robbed that bank.
Yeah. It was the day I was knighted. I remember it well. So we talked about Dolly Parton becoming even more beloved than she already is. And guess what? Rock and Roll Hall of Fame not having it. They have declined her request to pull her nomination, but with a little bit of a reason.
Wouldn't that be great if that went to court?
Yeah.
Supreme Court. No, she's gonna be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I don't want to be.
We don't need her. We don't need your fucking.
But it's not right. It's not the right genre. So
but it's my Hall of Fame.
That's right.
I can put anyone in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
You are a person of notoriety. I can make a T-shirt of you and I can sell it as long.
He's right.
I can put you in my Hall of Fame.
Well, they said that she didn't want her presence to split the votes, but after a few days, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame said she'll remain on the ballot, in part because
and they're going
voting's
to
already
fix
happening.
the ballots. Those ballots are fixed. The ballot machines have been fixed by the Russians,
That's
and
right.
Dolly Parton's not a legitimate Hall of Famer, even though you say she is.
That's exactly right. But she was on Fox and Friends, and she doubled down and said it would be like putting AC/DC in the Country Music Hall of Fame. So
See, she said it on Fox, though, partisan.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah, what
That's
is she
right.
going to say on CNN?
That was
The
totally
opposite?
Yeah, right.
That's right. Well, that's what I said. You can't. There's Country Hall of Fame. There's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
But there was a lot of backpedaling with Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because they said, most of rock and roll comes from these artists, from R&B and from blues and from country, and so we're all one. Oh, I want to put Brian to sleep.
No, but it's like saying, I own that ore because I own trees and ores are made from trees. It's like, yeah, true.
If you brought someone from the past, like George Washington, for instance, and said, okay, this is rock and roll music, and you played him Chubby Checker and then Stairway to Heaven and then Nirvana Smells Like Teen Spirit, and you go, that's a genre of music.
Right.
Where like fucking EDM, they have like 18, oh no, that's trance EDM, and this is EDM, and then there's like a million, like for the exact same bullshit sound, they have a million titles, but rock and roll encompasses rock around the clock tonight. No,
Well,
that's shit.
That was my
Or-
point when you were talking about the Mississippi Delta Blues. Yes, that's where it started, and now it's a thing, and
Right.
it's become a different thing over the years. But we still can honor that thing, however it's changed over the years.
Dolly agrees.
All right, let's bring it home, Gina
You
Grad.
got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news. Fuck!
That was the news with Gina Grad.
All right. Me, Indianapolis, Helium Comedy Club, May 6th and 7th. And then.
Great club.
Yeah, that's good. We'll do some.
The Heliums, I just started working Heliums and fucking spot on. Great
good.
clubs, yeah.
Oh, I'll be glad. I think we're coming back. Also, yeah, we've been there. Also, we can go to amcroll.com for all the live stuff.
Can I MC?
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Come on out. Doug Stanhope, The Dying of a Last Breed. It's available as we speak on YouTube and
Again,
very
filmed
funny.
pre-COVID. We had it on Amazon Prime and promised you we'd put it out for free, and then it took forever, but we did have it out for free. We were going to put it on Pornhub, and we had to deal with them when we put it out free, but then they got into a lot of trouble that we go, all right, we're going to distance ourselves from you.
DougStanhope.com is where you go for the live shows. New York coming up, Key West coming up. So just check out his website and find out what he's doing. Until next time, it's Adam Carolla for Gina Grad and Doug Stanhope and Bald Brian. Say it. Mahalo.
At this point, I've developed my fan base, so they know what they're getting into when they pay $50 to see me. I don't do showcase sets in LA or for fucking tourists for nothing. I work shit out on my paid gig, and I don't. I keep my opinions off Twitter. If I'm going to get fucking canceled, it's not going to be from a free tweet.